Hey there, welcome to Hiker Homily. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, hasn't it? Just going to preface this Hiker Homily with 2024 has been a crap year. I almost said an even worse word. Really crappy year. Chickens are doing okay. You can hear them, right? Unfortunately, you can probably hear some contractors, and that's been part of the reason and issues we've had here is both houses on either side of me. One has had work going on for, I want to say, 2 years now almost. So most of the days out of the year, some kind of contractor is working somewhere in their yard. So that's been fun. It's like the Winchester Mystery House. I guess whatever they're doing to the place will never be finished. And then the other place on the other side of me is empty and is being refurbished so they can sell it. And so we've had contractor noise on both sides. That's, life in the suburbs. First world problems. I know, I get it. Anyway, on top of that, we've had, let's see now, in the past 2 months and 8 days, we've had 3 trips to the ER for a loved one, 1 emergency surgery from one of those trips, and then complications from the surgery the next time, and then another loved one to the ER for some issues. And everyone's okay, everyone's recovering, everyone's fine, but just there's a lot of stress there. And from December until now, 2 of my closest friends in the world and at one time hiking partners and things like that have passed away from various things. So it's just been crap, you guys. So I'm really sorry. So here we go. I've wasted 2 minutes now. So on to actual Hiker Homily. I should have done this like in a catching up with the channel quick blurb or whatever. But anyway, on to Hiker Homily. And the real subject of this Hiker Homily isn't going to be the cloud my life is under right now. It is going to be hostels. Not being hostile, although some of that does exist in this story, but hostels as in the places that you stay. For a lot of us Americans, United States citizens, it's not a huge thing. There are some hostels in the United States. It's not as big of a system as they use in a lot of other countries. So if you're doing a lot of the caminos and things like that, that's a lot of what you're doing is going to be, you don't do a whole lot of dispersed camping or wild camping, as they call it over across the pond and things. You do hiking during the day, and then generally you get into a town at night, and generally to keep prices down and stuff, you're not going to stay at a hotel, which can be expensive. You're going to stay at a hostel, which is less expensive. And we're going to get into why it's less expensive in a minute. So you can see this kind of sprang from somebody posted online in one of the various social medias. You can see here, very much complaining about people snoring in the dorm. Let's look at that. That's what he's staying in, or she is a dorm, and complaining online, trying to get pity party about how this person snored and kept them up at night, and that person, it was on that person to get a private room if they know they snore, blah 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 blah. Okay, so a few things about that. Number one, as a person with sleep apnea, you don't always know you're snoring. Number two, not everyone who snores is a sleep apnea thing. They're not snoring all the time. Some people, for example, my wife, she will snore certain times of the year when allergies are affecting her because her sinuses are clogged. And then she'll only snore if she's on her back. And for me, that happens sometimes too, even with sleep apnea. If I'm in a certain position, I don't snore. If I am in a other position, I do snore, and it makes it worse and stuff like that. So especially with this nariz right here, yeah, I can make some noise. But the thing is I know I snore. My wife wasn't aware that she did until I proved it to her with a little video. But again, it's not all the time. Okay, so not everybody who snores know they do, so they don't always plan accordingly when they're traveling. But really the big thing is, and again, this is Hiker Homily, therefore it's my opinion, just what I'm going out there. It's not their job to keep everything quiet in a dorm environment in a hostel? No. If you are staying in a hostel, that means you're paying lower prices than a hotel. And the way they can do that is, at least the hostels I've known about, and I've never actually stayed in one, but I have had friends who helped manage one. They didn't own it, but they helped kind of run it and things like that over on the ocean side there near Santa Cruz. You pay that smaller price because you kind of help chip in. It's kind of you have to kind of help with this. You're given a chore when you check in. Oh, you need to do this, and that's part of your cheaper price to stay at a hostel. There may be a lot of hostels, and maybe in Europe they do it very differently, but hostels generally are less than a hotel stay, and there's a reason for that less than a hotel stay. Sometimes the plain and simple reason is you're not going to expect privacy, a private room of your own, unless you want to pay hotel prices, right? And so sometimes that's why a hostel is cheaper, because you are going to sleep in a dorm environment. And to go to something where there's a room full of people, 4 or more, because hostels are various sizes, but generally you're sharing the room with at least 4 or 5 people, if not a whole large room with a bunch of people in it, to expect everybody to sleep soundly and to not make any noise, that is an unreasonable expectation. If that's what you need for the night and are expecting, then you get yourself a private hotel room. End of story. Do not go into a dorm environment and then piss and moan that this person snores, that person toss and turn, no. Now, I'm not talking about the jerks who come in, oh, I'm staying at the hostel, but I went out to the pub and got drunk and came stumbling in at 2 o'clock in the morning, talking really loud and laughing with my mate and oh, people are trying to sleep. That's a totally different thing. Just regular sleeping noises in a room full of people, that's the way it goes. You're going to get people who snore. You're going to get people who toss and turn on creaky beds and things like that. If that's going to bug you so much that you go to social media to piss and moan about it, you need to get the private room. Don't tell other people to do it, because it's not their job to keep a hostel silent. That's an unreasonable expectation. Yeah, and it's just, and I'm looking at another video on entitlement, because it's gotten to be a big thing, especially in the hiker. That's why I'm going to do it specifically geared towards hiking and stuff like that, because there's a lot of people out there now on the trail that still have that mindset of everything is centered on me. This is my journey. I don't know if they read too many books like Wild or something like that. Don't get me started on that book. Where they just think everything is centered on them, and everything that happens is because of them and for them. And so therefore, if I stay at a hostel with 7 people in the room with me sleeping, they're all going to be perfectly quiet sleepers, and it's going to be just what it's ridiculous. But that's what some of these folks are literally expecting. So if you absolutely can't stand to have other noises going on at night and stuff like that, don't stay in a dorm-like situation like at a hostel. Stay at a hotel in a private room. Problem solved. Don't expect other people to bend to your universe. That's not how it works at all. Silly, I know. But it's out there, and who knows. So any comments, questions, any experiences you've had at a hostel? Like I say, I am not talking about actual rudeness where people just are making noise when they don't have to make noise. They're talking really loud in a room full of people who are trying to sleep and, just doing dumb things and stuff. But just general sleep noises. People are going to snore. People are going to pass gas. People are going to toss and turn, move around, and the beds in the hostels might be a little creaky, so they're going to make noise every time they do it, and things like that. That's part of going to a hostel. If you don't like those kinds of things to the point that you're going to complain on social media like an entitled brat, don't go to a hostel. Go to a hotel, pay the extra money, enjoy the private room. That's about it. So that's the little hiker homily. Got out there to 10 minutes with my check-in before dialogue there, or monologue. So, any experiences you guys have had, agree or not, as always, comments down below. You can get a hold of me at hikingforhealthca@gmail.com. Any of that kind of way to get a hold of me. And hey, here's hoping that 2024, at least for me, picks up and starts getting better and things like that. And I tell you what, I've got one camping trip planned so far. Not a whole lot, because there's a lot of stuff up in the air this year, and we're doing some stuff this year, but some of it will be road trips more than camping and stuff. But I do have at least one camping trip going to the coast over in the Monterey area, so that'll be pretty cool, and I'll be sure to do a review on that and probably get some hiking in there, and hopefully some more day hikes and fun stuff going on. But I tell you what, it's been a tough year to plan anything because of a bunch of stuff that's just up in the air. So here we go, 2024, the first hiker homily, finally, not out until early March, but here it is. And that's about it, so I'll catch you next time.